Intro. For over a decade, I've been staring at screens, not just casually, but obsessively, trying to decode the future one pixel at a time. I've been unboxing gadgets, peeling back the plastic on promises of a better, faster, more connected world. And I've been asking awkward questions about that future, pushing past the polished talking points to find the cracks in the facade. Lately, that future has a new engine, a powerful, unpredictable, and all-consuming force called AI. And the world's reaction? It's thrilling, it's a little messy, it's definitely loud. It feels like a rocket launch where some of the bolts were tightened in a hurry. We're all holding our breath, hoping it reaches orbit. You've seen the show. Dramatic lights, a huge stage, and endless conferences promising pure magic, delivered with the confidence of a seasoned illusionist. But let's be honest, the hype isn't the reality. Not even close. Behind the buzzwords and the billion-dollar valuations are real fundamental problems. Mistakes that look dangerously confident. Privacy trades that feel fundamentally unfair, where our data is the price of admission. And immense power concentrated in a handful of companies who are now the architects of our digital lives. Now, I don't want to be doom and gloom, but I refuse to sugarcoat the risks. We have to talk about them openly and honestly. So today, 9 things I honestly, truly hate about the current state of AI. And then, we'll talk about why, despite all of that, it still wins. Because the story of AI isn't a simple one. It's not just good or bad. This isn't a hit piece. It's part frustration, and it's part genuine admiration. To tell this story, we'll use dramatic lighting, suspenseful pacing, and clips from the biggest tech conferences. We'll see robots in labs, headlines from the news, and the quiet control rooms where the future is being coded. All set to a score that keeps the vibe tense, but focused. So stick around. Because the closer we get to number 1, the more uncomfortable the truth becomes. We have to understand that misuse equals real harm, and ignoring the problems won't make them disappear. This is the conversation we need to have right now. Chapter 1. AI gets hyped faster than it can deliver. It's a familiar cycle, accelerating with each new model. Every keynote feels like a promise, a slick, perfectly rehearsed vision of the future. This will change everything. Investors, reporters, and marketing teams latch onto a handful of words and spin them into inevitability. The result? People expect miracles overnight. They think a new model equals instant perfection. But hype does not equal reality. The truth is more boring and more important. Incremental work, data engineering, lots and lots of testing. Most breakthroughs are slow. We see flashy demos that don't generalize to the messy world where people live and work. In that world, models hallucinate. They invent facts, cite non-existent sources, and state falsehoods with complete confidence. It's not a bug. It's a fundamental trait of how they generate text, by predicting the next most plausible word, not by consulting a database of truth. And they inherit our biases. Trained on vast swathes of the internet, these models absorb the stereotypes, prejudices, and blind spots embedded in our own language and history. An algorithm can't be racist, but its output can reflect and amplify the racism in its training data. That gap between the demo and the messy reality of hallucinations and bias creates disappointment and justified skepticism. Buzzwords muddy the conversation even further. Generative, transformer, foundation model. They're useful technical terms, but tossed around like confetti in marketing decks. That makes it hard for people to know what's actually being shipped and what's just a story. When language is fuzzy, accountability gets fuzzy too. It's why we need plain English explanations of a model's capabilities and, more importantly, its limitations. Despite my irritation, hype has a role. It attracts talent and funding. It creates momentum and pushes the field forward. But hype without honesty is dangerous. It papers over the real risks of deploying flawed technology. So call it out. Demand clarity. Ask for the data on bias. Ask how hallucinations are being managed. Celebrate real progress, not just polished promises. To understand the challenges, you have to start with the data. These models are hungry? In fact, they're voracious. We're not talking about gigabytes. We're talking about petabytes of information scraped from the public web, licensed archives, and user interactions. They eat text from countless books, articles, and conversations. They analyze millions of images to learn what a cat or a sunset is, and they process endless streams of metadata to improve their understanding of the world. But in that vast digital ocean, sometimes the training data includes information people never meant to share. Private emails, sensitive medical forum posts, personal photos. That raises real privacy alarms, forcing us to ask fundamental questions. Who owns the data that was scraped from the web? The creator? The platform? The AI company? How was consent obtained, if it was at all? Was it buried in a 50-page terms of service agreement? And what can be inferred? Even from anonymized data, models can sometimes piece together identities. We've seen incidents where models can reproduce personal info, regurgitating names, phone numbers, or private messages they were trained on. And there are ongoing legal battles where data used for training wasn't clearly consented to. That's not just a legal headache for the companies involved. It's a trust issue for the entire industry. For this technology to be widely adopted, people should feel safe using products without worrying. Their private life is being scooped into a model, stored indefinitely, and potentially exposed. The good news is, solutions exist. We can design better consent flows that are clear and upfront. We can practice data minimization, only collecting what is absolutely necessary. We can use differential privacy techniques to add statistical noise, protecting individual identities, and we can demand clear transparency reports about what data is used and how. But those come at a cost. They add significant engineering complexity. They can lead to slower release cycles, and sometimes they cause a slight reduction in model performance. It's a trade-off companies have to be willing to make, choosing responsibility over raw capability. I hate the careless data grabs, the move fast and break things attitude applied to people's privacy. Yet I also see progress. Some companies now publish detailed transparency reports, and many offer clear opt-outs for users who don't want their data used for training. The future should prioritize privacy as a first-class design goal, not an afterthought shoved into fine print. Then there's the question of jobs. Automation is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it removes repetitive tasks and can free people to be more strategic and creative, acting as a partner, not a replacement. But on the other, it also threatens livelihoods, especially in roles centered on information processing, content creation, and customer service. For many workers, this rapid change means profound uncertainty. They're left wondering about whether their skills will still be valuable in 5 or 10 years, and what new skills they'll need to learn to stay relevant. The transition won't be frictionless. Chapter 8. There's a race mentality in parts of the industry. Move fast-scale, big-beat competitors to the next milestone. When speed becomes the priority, safety and long-term thinking can get deprioritized. That's a scary dynamic when stakes are high. AGI talk is seductive. It promises general intelligence that can learn anything. But racing toward that without proper safety research governance and international cooperation risks unintended consequences. We need cooling-off moments, not constant sprinting. Safety work can feel less glamorous than launch events. It's stress testing, adversarial evaluation, and governance design. Yet those are the things that prevent catastrophe. Funding and recognition for safety research should match enthusiasm for capabilities. I dislike the short-term push that sidelines safety, but I also know many researchers are dedicated to careful, collaborative safety work. The solution is cultural reward responsibility and slow down where needed. Competition should not mean cutting corners on safety.